Okay, so the second one says that they're intuitive. And we both kind of had a little bit of trouble just with like, because it says basically with an INFJ, they think more in abstractions than in concrete details. And it doesn't really describe him. But the next part of it does. Like it says, they're great at imagining future scenarios, but a bit weak at looking at the present reality. Like, I think that does describe you a little bit more than the first statement. And actually, that's something that I really needed, I think, because I'm not somebody, I'm only in the here and now. It's really hard, and I think it really bugs the crap out of my family because they'll be like, hey mom, what would you if this happened, or things like that, where like they try to put me in scenarios and I'm like, well, I don't know, because I'm not going through it. I don't know how I would act. And whereas he's a lot more I don't know, not
I can place myself in these situations and like visualize it in my mind, and like because my mind plays out so many different scenarios all the time to the full extent. And just like them old books, man, I remember them old books like where you read it to a part, then you got these options.
Choose your own adventure. I love those books though.
I love them. Yeah, so those are like my favorite. Like then I'll go all these different ways, but then I'll go back and see all the different scenarios and where it'll take you. And that's how my brain works. Like with all these scenarios, like, all right, this is gonna happen. Then I'll run into these type of situations. Then they have these options, and so.
Yeah, and honestly, okay, so I loved those books. There was a lot of times though where I would go. Like, I had to almost not really force myself to do it that way, the way you're supposed to do it. But be- what I wanted to do, and there was a lot of times that I did do it. I would go and it'd get to that point, and I would go and I would read both of them before I decided. And I went not all the way through, you know what I mean? But just like to the next step, like, okay, so this is going to happen if I do this, and this is going to happen if I do this. Which one do I want to happen? So that kind of explains the difference between us, I think, really well. That was actually a good analogy with the choose your own adventure, because that's how we are. Like, I have to know before I decide. Whereas, yeah.
My brain's already pretty much played out. Like, cause I'm pretty, what do you call, an observant person. So like when I watch all these movies, documentaries, and everything, seeing how people's lives are, then the choices that they make in their lives, and hearing all these different life stories, like I see patterns, like even when I was an educator, I would see the patterns, and even when I was parenting and everything, like I would see the patterns, and that's like an INFJ mind, like that's what you can see is patterns and characteristics. And then another thing was like what came up was we watch a lot of these TV shows, but then like I don't remember names. Then she asked me like, well, how do you know what, like who is who or what is what or whatever? And then like all I remember is faces and characteristics. Like, all right, that person with that face acts like this, and this is the type of person that they are in this relationship. So that's only what things that I look at.
It's actually just, and this doesn't have nothing to do with that, but it's weird because I'm somebody that has a lot of anxiety, but I know for some people with anxiety, it's because you're seeing like all the different scenarios. And for me, a lot of my anxiety comes from the unknown. It's like I don't, not knowing exactly what's going to happen or whatever. There is sometimes where and it used to happen a lot more when I was younger, but like driving and being behind a semi, well, like the Final Destination movies, it's like
Oh my
I
god.
those things I would see that kind of stuff in my head, like if I'm driving or if I'm, you know what I mean. But for the most part, it's the unknown,
Yeah,
and yeah, so
same. So then, like, well, what are the downfalls of me being intuitive? Would you say, like, affecting? Is there anything that affects our relationship in a negative way? I the reason why I say that is because, like, I think it falls into the category of me coming off as I know more than you, or like just listen to me in a way. Like, I can't think of specific times, but you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Where say take parenting for example, like he said, he follows patterns and all these things, and so when it comes, especially so like with our daughters, like he bases a lot of his parenting them or how he feels about parenting them based on what their patterns have been. Whereas I'm more like, okay, yeah, they did that in the past, but I mean, and I think a big part of it is just because I know, and I think coming from a background where like my mom and my dad, growing up, my mom and dad were in recovery, and being around a bunch of people that were a certain way before, and then something happened and they're changed, and going through it ourselves, like I'm always like, okay, well, let's see what they've learned, and a lot of times that comes back to bite me in the ass, but so I think that does kind of sometimes cause friction between us because he is more like, okay, no, because we're not going to do that, or I don't think that's a good idea because, last time we did it, this happened. And it's like, well, but what if, you know, why not? Let's see if they learn their lesson or whatever. And it's like, well, except for we did that last time, So, I mean, it
Shh, they can't hear
I know.
that.
His belly has something to say.
Shut up. Honesty. Why did honesty?
Told me to be honest. Um,
I guess my belly's saying like something's not sitting right with me with what she's saying. Just kidding.
no, but so I mean that part of it, it's like it does create some friction with us, not just in parenting, but in other things too, where it's like,
I think we've grown past a lot of the issues, like because understanding each other. Like, as I remember, like I wanted to make her stop certain things without like making her stop certain things. For example, like your cousin Josh, like how I was used to use you to do all this and that for him, and like oh my god, his habits were the same, and he was always doing the same thing, and to me, it felt like he was using her kindness, and like that was upsetting to me because she's getting used, and it hurts her because like, she was trying to be there for a family member. But then that used to upset me, and it's just an example of like like how we were in the beginning, but we like kind of like grew past that understanding. I don't want to say like I got her to jump on board with.
and I think, I mean, I'm one of those people that is really forgiving, to a fault, really, like, and I always have been, where, things that people have done, for a lot of people, they'll just be, you cut those people off and that's it. It's just like, even if it's just like, I'll love you, but from a distance. Where for me, a lot of times there can be some horrible, horrible things done to me. As long as, if it's to me, then I'm way too forgiving. It's just like, okay, like I understand, we went through these things, but you seem like you want to do different. But I think, and I do think that it has helped me. I think being in a relationship, if it's healthy and you're open and you're honest and there's communication, we've touched on that a lot of times in different videos, where communication is key. And so we talk, and we are open and we're honest, and anyway, like, so I feel like I have grown in our relationship, and it's doing personal work, but it's also, us working together to where I forgive a lot more, but I don't forget more now than it was before. Where it's like, okay, yeah, I'll still talk to somebody, or I'll still have a relationship with somebody, but I'm not going to keep doing the same thing that I, used to do.